Hey, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Dark Side of Our Haunted Minds. I'm Adam Darkside.
I'm Dominic.
And I'm Daniel. And we are Haunted Minds Paranormal.
Tonight is our Halloween episode, and we have a lineup for you that'll make your skin crawl. First up, we're diving into the Wendigo, a creature that will have you second guessing every sound you hear in the woods from here on out. And after that, we're talking about the infamous Mothman. And yep, that cryptid's been terrifying West Virginia for decades. And then we're going to tackle the real life case of The Devil Made Me Do It. I think some people out there have probably seen the movie. And that's what we're going to be talking about, but the actual case. And yeah, did the devil really make him do it? We'll get into that later. First, I think we're gonna dive into the Wendigo. This thing creeps me out. I'm gonna start off by showing y'all what the Wendigo looks like, supposedly first. Just so you guys get like a little bit of an idea of like how creepy this thing like really is.
They are absolutely horrifying. I don't
I
ever
know.
want to encounter one of these things.
No, not at all. So like here we go. Like look at this thing, man. Can you imagine walking through the woods and like thinking you're like, I'm gonna do some hunting today, get me some whitetail out here, you know? And I might just stroll through the woods, take a seat, sit in your deer stand. You're there for like 5 minutes. You're just getting into it, and you're like, oh shit, there it is. You see this thing come crunch through the woods, and all of a sudden it's like not a whitetail, like it's not an 8-pointer. Like, yeah, it's got some points, but like not the ones that you want to mess with. Like that would be like probably make you like have a heart attack, honestly. Like
Yeah,
I think I would have a heart attack.
that's one thing though. Like if I did encounter that, I wouldn't know what to do. Like I would probably just be frozen in my tracks because like
Yeah.
you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Like you
like-
wouldn't know if it would be like an actual person or if it would be like a deer that was like standing on its hind legs and like you're seeing shit.
Right.
Like you
And
wouldn't
imagine if
be able to wrap your brain around it.
imagine if you did take a shot at it and because you like had some guts that day, like you decided to pull up your big boy pants and be like, okay, I'm gonna take it out. And you shoot it and it just like stares at you. You know that moment in like all the like the horror movies where like Jason gets like shot and it just like he just gives you the look like
Yeah.
you just messed up because I don't die and just comes straight at you.
Right back up and
Yeah.
Yeah, that's horror movie fuel, man. That's
Yeah,
nightmare fuel.
just by looking at him, you can definitely tell.
But like the legend began, it comes from old stories from the Algonquin speaking tribes. See if I can pronounce it right. It's hard to say, but it's don't I know you people, you trolls out there, don't do it, but it's the Ojibwe. Sorry, it's like Ojibwe. It's like weird. And Cree, like so it has a deep past, and it was a warning against dangers of greed, cannibalism, and losing your humanity in moments of survival. So the Wendigo is more than just a monster. It's a person that transformed into a horrifying creature after consuming human flesh in a moment of desperation. So basically, like if your tribe back in the day was low on, there was the hunt didn't go good and people are starving to death. And instead of turning on each other and eating people to survive, this, if you did this, basically, it was like old legend that if you did this, you would turn into this thing, and you could never. Once you take the bite, you lose yourself and the transformation's like brutal. Like basically, it's basically like a curse. Like if you eat human flesh, this is what you turn into. And supposedly that's where that really came from. But yeah, it's crazy. Like we all hear about people talking about them and stuff, but like they're basically, it's cannibal is what a Wendigo really pretty much is.
Yeah.
And supposedly, like, and if you really think about it, I know this is kind of like, this is dark, that's why it's like the Halloween special, but
Yeah.
like, if you did have to do that, like, think about that for a second. Like, if you had to eat someone to survive, could you do it?
Making that sacrifice towards like a family member or a child.
Be rough.
Imagine having to draw straws on your kids, like what if you had to do something like that? Like, I know it's dark, but like, think about it. It's probably been done. Like,
Yeah.
if we're thinking about it,
don't
I'm sure
doubt
some
it.
other people did.
I don't doubt it, but just thinking about it, it's just like
It's horrifying decision. And that's why they like basically say you should never, you're better off passing away or, unaliving or whatever you have to do before you turn to consuming another human being, basically. And basically they're warning you that if you do this, it's a dark, dark road that you're about to go down, because there's no turning back after you do that. Like it's pretty dark stuff. And what creeps me out is it's not just like a mindless predator either. It's actually supposedly it's cunning and smart, and it can mimic voices. I think we've heard that in other legends of skinwalkers and stuff like that, where they'll lure people a little bit farther out. They'll lure you a little bit. And people claim this stuff all the time. Like they claim that they're out on a trail and they hear like somebody calling for them, and they get a little bit in and a little bit out of their comfort zone, basically, to somewhere where they don't know. And who knows, they could be luring you right into a hole or somewhere to, you'd never be found again. Hikers and stuff go missing all the time. Do we know exactly? No. A lot of them go missing without any shred of evidence left behind whatsoever. And
that's really the unfortunate thing too. Like, there's things that we haven't explored within even our oceans.
Yeah.
Let alone
kind
of creatures that are deep inside of like mountains or caves or just like you name it. Like, creatures will go wherever food is. And like, if this thing got onto like, let's say, mainland soil and started traumatizing like a whole group of people, he could potentially turn more people into Wendigos.
Yeah. And some people say that it's like, it's a curse, as in like maybe your body might fade, but maybe in spirit you become one of these after the case too.
Maybe.
I mean, if you get cursed, usually that's where, we go to these haunted houses and we go to these places that are all haunted and stuff, and usually it's because of something bad happening. Usually that's the most severe hauntings, is where bad things occur, negative energy.
I can't think of any place that we've been to that we haven't been to that's like not haunted or not like known for something evil.
Something very bad taking place.
Yeah.
And the biggest hauntings are always the ones that have the worst negative energy. I don't know if it's just how that works.
That, and just the fact that, like you were talking about caves and everything, the fact that I would really love to know, like, inside those caves, how many people are missing in there, because I know people's gotten stuck inside those caves and they don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
where they're at currently.
Many people have passed away cave diving every year
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
You just never know where caves are at. You never know. Like, it's mind-boggling.
like some of them, like the old mines, they had to like cease. Some mines they had to abandon because they'd hit like a water table or something, and and the water would start rising and stuff. They break free, and then they kind of ruin the mine, and they have to evacuate. Because I saw these one guys the other day. I wish I give credit where it's due, but I cannot remember what it was. But they were going through this old abandoned cave, not a cave, but a mining shaft system.
Okay.
And it was like miles deep, but the water had risen. So they had to be really careful about where they stepped, because some of these holes that go straight down are only the size of a sewer drain. And if you step on it and drop, you're gone. Like, you're not coming back up. Like, you one wrong step on an old soggy wood that might have been covering that hole at one point, and you're going straight down. So like, if they couldn't see where they were stepping, they were always testing around spots to make sure, and like they were literally finding them as they went, which is even scarier. What if something chases you out of there? Like, what if something's in there and chases you out, and you don't have time to check for holes, and you just gone like a blip, never found again.
Yeah, that's like going up to Mount Everest. Like, I would love to see how many. Like, I know it's like I wouldn't love to see, but like, it's interesting to see how many bodies are up. Like,
there's a lot that go missing, and they have to wait till the thaw.
Yeah, dude.
There's plenty of stories on Mount Everest, but that's a whole different topic in itself. But
right, it's nuts. Like
it really does beg the question, especially with Mount Everest, if a Wendigo lives on that mountain.
I mean,
because
I don't know if that's the area that the legend started or not.
I heard not many people make it out.
But what I'm saying is, like, there's been cases where people's bodies have been ripped apart by something on that mountain.
I remember. Yeah, I remember there was another.
Yeah, it was like a Russian team.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say there's a Russian team, and they everything seemed fine. Like, they checked out the campsite and everything. Like, it looked weird. Like, they got up in a hurry and had to get away from something. And they found like some really gruesome stuff that we probably can't even say, really. Probably can't. But they found
it was really gruesome.
It was some gruesome stuff
on your guys' own accord,
but they're saying that could have possibly been like like a sound. They said that they like it might have something to do with some weird sound creating. Like, I don't know. It sounded kind of made up to me, just as a way to brush it under the table. But they were trying to blame it on mass hysteria of something caused them to all go like crazy for a little bit and like destroy each other. But that sounds more far fetched than some animal doing it or some creature.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them were even found in the nude.
Yeah.
And like, up this mountain, it's like in freezing temps, like below 0 temps.
Well, there was a big snowstorm that blew through that, like, it was like snowy, horrible conditions that they were even warned against going out there too.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all very capable. Like, when they did this, I remember seeing part of the story. They were all perfectly capable of making the hike. All of them were in great shape. They've all done bigger hikes and bigger climbs and what they were even doing, but something weird happened and a bunch of them. But yeah, that's an interesting theory. It could, who knows? It could have been like, that's the crazy part is people will sit there and say all day, like, there's a scientific explanation behind this. Not always.
Yeah.
Not always. No. And like, I only put that correlation with the Wendigo because of how they act.
Yeah.
And the way that they were found on the mountain kind of makes me to believe that it could have been something like a Wendigo.
Yeah, I mean,
Whether or
even
not it is, I don't know.
yeah,
Nobody
like,
really knows.
It could be something that we don't know about. It could be something like that's not known.
it could have been aliens for all we knew. They could have made him do some
It
crazy
really
stuff.
It could be aliens.
Could have been a Yeti or like a Bigfoot. Like
you never
right?
Never know.
And you'll never find out, most
No.
likely. Unfortunately.
And honestly, we probably don't want to find out. It probably wouldn't be good.
Oh yeah.
But like one last point I'll make about the Wendigo before I pass the torch on. It actually some of the people said that like the antlers had deer-like skull for a head, and you can see like it just like oozes dread. Like I said, it smells as if it's decaying and still like on the hunt. Like it's in a hunt mode, like at all times. So like it's kind of creepy. Basically, you don't want to be in the path of one of these things, is basically what it's saying, because you'll be eaten. And you know, it's a hunter. It's literally trying to find you already before you even know it.
And I feel like running away would not be a good option. Running away just shows that you're intimidated and scared.
I think
and
with most of
worse with you. So honestly, that's why something like that. I don't think I would run. I would kind of walk off, just because like you don't really want to run, because then they come after you.
But the problem is anybody in that situation see something like that, man, it'd be hard not to run.
That is true. Yeah. I mean, but
I mean
now, but you've never been put in that situation either.
What if like your friend in front of you just like had himself tore apart in front of you? Would you run? I wouldn't stick around and find out if he's going to do the same thing to me.
That is the case.
I wouldn't want to stick around either.
But to like, obviously you're scared shitless, but
yeah, I don't think you can get away from these cryptids.
When you run, this person's gonna know that, oh, maybe they're playing a game with us. They're gonna come after you. If you try to walk off, like, I get it. You're most likely still getting messed up, but getting killed, if that. But like, it's not as bad.
Yeah, I kind of look at it as, and the fact is with these cryptids, if you do face them, I don't think there's any getting away from them. I think it's a matter of if they decide to leave you, or not. I don't think we have a choice. If we're in their neck of the woods and we're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the people that have had to face these things, like, that would be absolutely terrifying. Like, to live with it would probably be just as scary as if you would have ended at that time.
I really wouldn't know what to do if I did encounter that. Like, I don't know.
Like, I get where you're saying about them and everything, but like, you truly never know what you're gonna do when put in the face of fear.
Fear freezes people, though, too.
Everyone acts differently.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Sometimes you can't even do anything.
We say that we won't run or that we will run, but you don't know what you're truly gonna do in that scary of a situation.
I about got hit by a car one time, like going to this. I was walking across like a busy highway, but it was their fault. They weren't paying attention, and we had the crosswalk, and I was walking across, and me and my friend were like right in front of this car that wasn't paying attention and slammed on their brakes. And literally, I heard the tires squealing. It felt like time slowed down, and I was frozen. I couldn't move. Like, even I just kind of accepted it, but it stopped like just a mere inch away from it. Like bumped my leg. That's how close it was from like nailing us. And like, it freaked me out. It did. Like, because I kind of realized in that moment, I was like, sometimes even if your legs are your mind's telling your legs to move, sometimes you can't. So you always hear these people say I was frozen, I couldn't do anything, and you're like, oh, if I was in that situation, I would have done this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, when you are in that situation, you realize that, hey, now I kind of get where they're coming from. Sometimes are frozen with fear, you can't even do anything.
You just never know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like crazy. How
I've experienced that a time or two.
But in situations like that, if they don't see you, don't run.
Exactly.
So which one of you want to talk about the Mothman now? We want to go into
Let's talk about the
Mothman
Mothman.
territory?
Let's talk about the history of the Mothman. There's a lot of stuff. So there's a folktale from West Virginia, and there's many sightings of him back in the day, from like 1800s, right? 1867, right around there. I want to say so. Yeah.
I think it started being spotted like I thought it was like
right around there. It was sometime.
I think there was like depictions of it in the 1800s, maybe, but it didn't really become known until like the 60s.
Like I think it was like one of the biggest things that happened was a couple that spotted the Mothman. It's what really got it like going, wasn't it? Like
I believe like they spotted him on like a bridge, like just standing on top of it or something.
Yeah. Something like that. I think it was.
I'll have to go back over it again, honestly.
I think they were driving.
So much just happened to them, like that.
I think a couple was driving on a back road, and out of nowhere they saw this huge figure standing in the road, and said that it was like 7 feet tall with giant glowing eyes and enormous wings, and they said that the creature like flew to their car and followed them at high speeds, like they were driving away, and supposedly it was like keeping up with their car. I think it was like a big
I did know that.
Yeah,
like the big thing that got it like thrown on the map where people started actually talking about in the papers again. But I do think there was a legend already there embedded in like the local area down there of sightings or something. I think that date back to what you're talking about. But I think that's what started it, was this people they went to like the sheriff's department, I think, immediately too, and like literally were that adamant that they saw this thing too.
He's also possibly known for collapsing a bridge too.
Yes.
So that like they don't know for sure, but
they don't know for sure what caused the bridge to collapse, but there was sightings that
or her, you don't know the moth. You never know.
Well, yes, but like I heard like one article saying that they saw sightings of the Mothman on this bridge right before it collapsed, like standing on top of the like one of the arches. I forget what the bridge is called.
Pleasant
Bridge, maybe.
It was Silver Bridge.
Silver Bridge.
Yeah, I was in Point Pleasant, Ohio.
Point Pleasant. Okay.
Yeah. It killed 46 people.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah. It's nuts. I guess they started looking at him as the harbinger of doom because of that. They were like, something terrible happens in Point Pleasant after the sightings begin, like something bad happens. And supposedly it's connected to the bridge. And they believe that the Mothman was warning them, actually. But some people say that he's connected to it, like he caused a disaster.
Yeah.
But some people you could look at it both ways. You can look at it as he was flying over it to like give a heads up that, hey, structurally this thing is about to go down. Because I'm pretty sure they found that like the structural like integrity wore out and it just collapsed.
Yeah, I think part of the concrete on the pillars were cracked or something like that.
Yeah. So like we can at least, the facts of the matter is the bridge was unstable and fell. Whether the Mothman caused it to hit the breaking point or he was warning us. I mean, he could be warning us, man. This could be some like.
The craziest part is that you'll never know. You'll never find out.
No, we won't. I wish I'd go down and be like, "Hey, Mothman, let's have an interview. Let's have a talk."
For sure. Yeah.
I would honestly love that.
I would too.
Would it? Would it be awesome? We should just do that.
Hey,
Nobody
and
knows that.
Mothman, if you're out there somehow and you see us,
hey, Mothman,
hit us up. We'll do an interview with you.
We got a big lamp.
Know.
Mothman, we got a big lamp.
Well, hell yeah! I'll go out and buy one. I'll go out and buy one too. We'll get double for you.
Like, there's been
double lamps, baby.
Think about how much money that though. Where does the money? Who gets the money for the? Wonder if it's like anybody's rights. Like, how do you get Mothman rights? Is it like the town's rights? Like,
I don't know. I think that's just what it was called.
Because there's been books, documentaries. They even made the Mothman prophecies.
Yeah, there's even like a statue like that they had made depicting a Mothman.
Because they don't have like you can't really see an actual picture of the Mothman because like there's no like actual legit picture of him.
Yeah, so and you know what? This just tells you how much the town has made it a thing. It's a tourist attraction, man. They literally have a Mothman festival every year.
Yeah, a museum. They have different kinds of shops. Like they have a coffee shop, like solely for Mothman. I was just like, what?
I would love to
crazy.
Like some people think, I think it might be an alien. I mean, I also think that Bigfoot could be an alien, or I think that they've figured out how to a different type of travel. I wouldn't say teleportation, but I think there's like a veil that like we can cross over between different dimensions, and there's like a whole nother like almost kind of like we start going into like string theory here, like it's infinite, like there's different dimension on top of different dimension on top of different dimension, and maybe some of these dimensions are closer together than others, and maybe they found a way to be able to go from one to the other. And yeah, I mean, maybe
it's very possible.
That's how these. I mean, there's too many sightings to say that there's some of these cryptids are not something to look into.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just came out with another sighting like not that long ago.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Because I think people still claim to see him all the time. I think.
Interesting.
But it could be in your head too. Think about if you're at night. But what else would it be? I mean, come on. This thing supposedly stands like 6 foot, 7 foot tall. If you to get something that big off the ground, the wings would have to at least be 12 foot or bigger. Think about that for a second.
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine seeing that? You would think that literally death is knocking at your door. Like, here comes the freaking wraith. Like what is going on?
It would almost be like my depiction of what like a demon would look like
almost
after me.
I mean, who says the moth? If anybody's been close enough, they say it has red eyes, and if you think about it, we hear these depictions of demons, and a lot of times people have said that like the evil, red eyes. I've seen red eyes staring back at me before.
They stand out, yeah.
And I'm sure not all demons have wings either.
No, well, they said they're fallen angels.
They're all gonna make themselves look different. I mean,
so maybe the angels, just because they flew from the heavens to here, and I'm not going to go too big on a conspiracy thing about aliens making us and all that jazz. That's another podcast. We'll get there. I'm still doing research on when I decided to go with my ancient alien podcast. That's been my topic one of these nights. It's gonna break the whole lid wide open. People probably won't like it, but too tough shit. I don't care. Sometimes the truth sucks, but the truth shall set you free also.
Yes.
It's just I've seen it. I've done the rabbit hole dive on a lot of different things, and it makes more sense that what the missing link really is, and that's literally genetic modification. Yeah. So
yeah,
it makes more sense than about anything else.
For sure.
But let's go from Mothman. We're just talking about demons. Speaking of demons,
Yes.
let's talk about the devil made me do it case. That
Yeah.
sounds awesome to talk about.
So in Brookfield, Connecticut, there's this case of a guy named Arnie Johnson. And mind you, this guy is only 19 years old at the time of his, arrest that we know now.
You might have to go more elaborate into how many were involved with that whole thing. Like,
there is a lot to this case because this is the first case in Brookfield that even mentioned like the first real unaliving in Brookfield. And this guy unalived his landlord, Alan. According to a testimony by the Gatzel family, 12-year-old David Gatzel allegedly had played host to a demon after witnessing a number of increasingly ominous occurrences involving David. His family, exhausted and terrified, decided to enlist the aid of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And this is where the Conjuring series also comes into play. Not everything in that movie is depicted as how the courts played out. There's some things that they had to edit because it would have changed the rating of the movie. And it's kind of gruesome on what this guy did. But after he was found like down the road from the eventual crime scene, he was in like almost like a gaze, according to the sergeant on scene that found him. He was like in some like wooded area, just like walking around, but he didn't seem like he was there. And whenever they took him in, he like came to and was like, "Hey, what is happening? I don't know what's happening." He had completely lost his train of thought. And before all that, they did a exorcism on David. David is the little brother of his girlfriend. And during the exorcisms that Ed and Lorraine did on this little boy, Arnie was taunting him, saying, "Take me instead." And well, that's whenever the whole case pretty much started, is after him and his girlfriend moved out into an apartment together. That's whenever she noticed it was kind of like the same thing that her brother was going through. Her brother would be seen growling, foaming at the mouth, hissing at people, speaking in like a different like voice that didn't sound like a human, mind you. And that's what baffles me, is like something that powerful can change to a different person.
Yeah, didn't they say that like he was possessed by 43 demons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
David?
Yeah.
That's what he says, but let's be honest, his head's really messed up.
I mean, I get that, but like it's kind of crazy that, I mean, Ed and Lorraine didn't take just any case from what I looked into. They took the ones that they actually believed something paranormal was going on. But then you got other skeptics that will say that they put them up to certain things and this and that they were doing it for Hollywood, blah blah. But that's what a skeptic would say. I believe that they pushed this field forward, regardless of what you think about them. But the paranormal field has been studied with scientific methods and accuracy that stemmed from what they did. A lot of us do what they did. So I can say
Even
to
though, yes,
legitimacy
they
that
were
it's real.
called demonologists, they
Yeah.
were also paranormal researchers at the end of the day.
Yep. And she was a psychic medium. So.
Yes. Which I thought was fascinating that like all these things that she would say and they were true.
Uh-huh.
Without even being told anything.
I mean, and we saw the movies and everything, but the movies didn't accurately depict a lot of the Conjuring at all.
They of course had to make it more horrifying for the big screen, but
there's a lot of things changed.
For the most part, I would say the storyline is there on their depictions. They just had to add more to it.
For sure.
And like lie about
something. Because they had to spice it up.
Yeah.
It's not always like the movies it's nothing like the movies when you go paranormal investigating. People can watch movies all they want and be like, is that what you do for a living? Or that's what you do for fun? Like, no, we're not running around the house with a crucifix trying to get rid of a nun. Nope. That's not what we do on a normal basis. It's not any of it.
People drive me crazy, man.
And what I find weird about this case too is that his defense lawyer was actually like playing into that notion of like, hey, you've been in the presence of God. Why can't the devil also be present in the court of law? And like that was his like whole defense. Like, how come this man can't be tried and like being testified against in a demonic possession state? Like,
yeah.
It's really, I don't know.
They did say that it all happened. That like if you go to the trial part of it, like they did finally they did admit that there was like altercations after a whole day of drinking. So it wasn't like there wasn't any conflict going on and he just snapped and did this. He but actually that's kind of what happened. He kind of snapped, but there was an altercation there, and I don't think they really report of what was said back and forth between them that caused him to take the 5-inch pocket knife he had and do what he did. So but supposedly,
as far as I remember, they were like talking about it on like interviews what I watched. Well, like this was like years ago, so I would have to like really dig into YouTube to be able to find it. But he was like on this like podcast that I was watching at the time, and he was saying something about that like whenever they were describing it back to him, he was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember doing it to that landlord and potentially his friend too.
And is this just blamed on alcohol so that it's easier for the courts to not deal with the paranormal? Yes. I believe that. I believe truly that. I mean, I'm not saying it's an excuse for what he did, but at the same time, if he had no control over what he was doing, man, can you imagine being back row seats to like yourself and not remembering anything that people said that you did? I mean, I remember when I used to drink. I don't drink anymore, but I remember when I used to black out and people tell me what I did the next day. I wouldn't remember any of it. There were times where I didn't remember doing any of what they said, and I was horrified by some of the stuff I was told that I did. So I can see where alcohol does play a factor in this, and we can't rule that out and say that it didn't. I'm sure it had a lot to do with this. But if he had demons brewing already, that couldn't have helped anything.
Not very good, no.
And like what baffles me is that Lorraine even warned the police that there was something that was going to be happening at this dog kennel that they were staying at. And that's actually where the event even happened, is inside the dog kennel where they were both staying at and working there. Well, his girlfriend worked there. And like, how do you predict something like that? Like,
you don't. That's just nuts.
Like I wouldn't even know what I would have done in that time period if I was that police officer that got that call from Lorraine.
Yeah, like, can you imagine?
Like, completely crazy.
Yeah, you would. But then after it happened, you'd be like, if you ever get any more tips, send them my way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'd be saying. Be like, hey, if you know how to take down this kingpin here in town, just let me know, or whatever.
That
I
would be
mean, it was a
amazing.
small town, so whatever. But
all the crazy cases are always in a small town, though.
Oh, I know.
isn't it?
Man,
It's
like
so weird.
every haunted place we go to, I can't think of a haunted place that we've been to that's in a big town.
No.
Right. I mean, you'll get haunted bars and stuff in bigger towns and cities, and a lot of people will say like a lot of the old apartments in like New York and stuff have been like remodeled and some places turned into things that were never apartments to begin with. And you hear all these people that say that like, oh, well, we're just used to it. And they just like brush it off like, oh yeah, that we were warned that happens. It's just, and they make up some excuse in their mind of how it makes sense when it really doesn't, and just go on with it. Just ignore it.
Yeah, exactly.
But man,
well, unfortunately, the case with Arnie too. Like, he couldn't avoid it. He was the one that let it inside of him. But whether or not it was the devil himself or if it was alcohol, we may never truly know, because this kind of thing, being in the court of law, is not really heard of. Like,
no, it was the first time anybody ever had a not guilty due to demonic possession as their defense for not guilty.
For everything, I guess.
Yeah.
I know, like, since this case happened, there's been like a few others.
Yeah,
they haven't really been successful, I would say, but it is really damning to like read about.
Yeah, the demon murder trial is what it was known for.
Oh yeah,
I think there's a Netflix series on that.
There is
actually. It's called the Devil on Trial on Netflix.
Yeah.
I've seen that one. It is actually a really good one. They go pretty good in depth on it.
I need to watch that.
I need to get Netflix.
According to that show or docuseries, whatever it is, it said that they actually had an interview with Carl, and Carl's the brother of the girlfriend of Arnie.
Yeah,
I believe. And they have like his like own personal testimony with some like recordings of like that whole situation.
Yeah, it didn't go well for him though, because the judge in the case dismissed it like immediately, because he said, stating that such claims could not be proven in a court of law, he ruled that any defense based on supernatural or paranormal events is inadmissible. So it lacked scientific backing. So if you couldn't prove it, they couldn't use it as defense. So,
which, I mean, looking back on the case, I think he had a strong defense inside of his case. Considering the fact that he couldn't even tell police on what exactly he did.
Yeah, and then you see that after that happened, Johnson's the defense, it shifted to self-defense.
Yeah.
After that, so they said they both were drinking heavily, and Bono was the aggressor in the altercation and tried to prove that it was an act of self-defense, but they still found him guilty of first-degree manslaughter. So
yeah,
he didn't he didn't get away with anything, regardless of whether it just sucks because what if he is an innocent man sitting? I don't think he's in jail anymore, or he might have passed away.
Yeah, I think he got out on good behavior, like a little less than 5 years.
Is he still alive?
I think he might be.
That's a good question. I think he's still alive. So yeah, even if he would have been, if he would have been, he was sentenced in almost coming up on
he was
like
sentenced in 81.
24 years ago, yeah. So November 24th, 1981, he got sentenced to do 10 to 20 years in prison, but only served 5 years before being released on good behavior.
Is he still alive? How old is he now?
I could do the math, but I don't feel like it. I remember him saying it was 19. So if you add 19 to 5, he was 24. So he got out of prison after 5 years. So he's like 25, 26. So he got out early in his life. So,
I mean, I guess that's a good thing at least.
I mean, the one good thing out of anything that happened, if he's innocent, if he's guilty of doing it, then not any justice was served, and he only served 5 years, a slap on the wrist.
And when he's older now, even if they do find out it's him, they won't take him in because of how old he is, and
double jeopardy.
That's happened to like Jimmy Snuka. He killed his wife, but he was so old and he had Alzheimer's and everything else that he got away with it.
Yeah. And that's what I tell people too. If they figure it out after like one of those, like a serial beep, passes away, but then they figure it out later, it's like that dude won. He got to live his whole life. He was never, maybe his name might be tarnished now, but what does he care? He's not around. It's not like it matters now, but he got away with it. And that sadly, a lot of people get away with it.
Yeah,
including our own government.
Yeah.
We'll go there one of these days. Actually, as a matter of fact, if those of you watching, if you want to like give us some ideas of topics to talk about in the upcoming weeks, like we'll do these like little short things where we all kind of find a topic. We've been like doing that because it just keeps like
it keeps it fresh.
It keeps it fresh. We talk about all different kinds of topics, not just one for the whole entire hour and some change. We actually get to talk about multiple things. So
and you can now find us on X or Twitter. So
and we have our own YouTube channel as well that we're just firing up. Right now where it's being played off of mine on DarkPsyd Paranormal on YouTube. Like, share, comment. Go like these guys. Like, share, comment on Haunted Minds Paranormal as well.
Yes.
We appreciate it. We love it. We have another show that will be dropping next week. That remember the technical difficulties that were happening. We're going to be dropping that here this next coming week. I'm going to finish the editing on that because we couldn't do it live because Streamlabs was being weird, and so we just recorded an episode and we'll put that one out there and see what you guys think about that one too. Like if you like the recorded and edited.
I think it was really good.
It was great. We talked about it's about the Illuminati, and we talk about I'm not going to give too much away, but we talk about Diddy. We talk about Diddy, and we talk about Epstein, and we kind of bring that whole topic all around and show how they're all pretty much connected. Or are they? Or allegedly? I'll say allegedly.
Allegedly, I can see it, but just stay tuned and you'll find out more.
But yeah, I was wanting to get some feedback from people. Like, if you guys have any like awesome ideas or like something that you really want to hear us do a little bit of more of a deep dive on, like I'm thinking about doing a poll like on probably our Facebook page, or even maybe we'll put one on the new YouTube channel. Just put a poll out just for fun. If you guys want to get on there, like, subscribe, and share to all your friends,
for sure,
and all your family.
Even tell your grandma about us.
Tell your grandma, your papa, your papa's brother's boyfriend. Tell them all about
podcast is good enough to slap y'all mama.
And we'll talk about
Yes.
we will talk about what you guys want also. So
yeah, like we're always down to learn something new too. Like I love.
For
Maybe
sure.
we should do like a surprise one too. Like put like a whole bunch of names like in a digital drawing, and each one of us pick one from it and not tell each other what it is about, and then just like drop it.
Go for it. Yeah,
I'd be down.
Yeah,
I would totally
Cryptid roulette. Do cryptid roulette or something.
roulette.
Like put
Hey,
Bigfoot, all of them on there, and just
like
badass,
like each of us just get like 5 topics per person. We all throw them together. Then we just kind of
I'm down.
look around and find out.
I love doing quick burst sessions of research on stuff. We're nerds up in here. That's what we do.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just like everybody calls this spooky season, like it's always spooky season, baby.
It's
always
Halloween's all year round for me. Spooky season's life. Halloween keeps me alive.
I know.
Yes.
My family don't get it. They're like, why do you love like Nightmare Before Christmas so much? Like that's the theme we used for the baby, which by the way will be coming around the mountain. It's literally we're 2 days.
Coming around the mountain where she comes.
Actually, less than 2 days. We're talking. We're down under the 48-hour mark at this point. So Saturday is a big day.
Of course, congratulations again. On I've already texted you personally.
Oh yeah.
But congrats again.
See his uncles from another mother.
Hell yeah. But I just got like I just remembered something before like we ended off. Have you been hearing about the Jason Hawes and Cody and Satori case? I just recently watched Jason's most recent
video.
Where was this at?
About the text?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Where was this at?
It's on his YouTube channel.
Hold on.
His name is Jason Hawes.
All right, you need to send that to me.
How about this? I'll do this one better. Give me a second.
Hunters?
Yeah.
With taps is what they're called.
Yeah.
He's one of the ghost hunters on taps.
Okay.
But he has a kid named Satori. She's dating this guy named Cody, and apparently Cody and Satori can do this like it's kind of like a Ouija
tap
board
method.
Kind of. It's like a tap method is what it is. She will start asking questions, or he will ask questions, and they're holding hands facing each other with their eyes closed, and you hear this tapping sound, and she starts naming out loud like letters, and basically that's how they will form sentences. I don't know how that works, but she used to work at the Conjuring House, which the owner, I think it was Jennifer Nunez. Is that what Jacqueline Nunez? That's what it is. She's still emailing these people even after like all the hellacious claims about Jason trying to unalive her. He's already went to the police. He's already stated that like they've tried to get this woman help mentally.
Let's watch the beginning of the video so y'all can get an idea of this lady who is probably suffering from schizophrenia at least. And I'm just saying that, and I'm not. But there needs to be accountability here, though. There still needs to be accountability. The courts can at least do something about this, because if I was getting texts from this lady like these guys were, just here, I'll roll the tape. I'll roll that great bean footage.
An update to all
maybe
things conjuring, I guess. And you know, I hate making videos about this. I hate giving any press or publicity, but the messages are still coming. Still coming. The emails, texts, and they're more and more vicious now than I think they were even in the beginning, though. And I'm going to share those with you. She actually sent emails. And so, guys, there's a big reason why I've been trying to promote the hell out of the whole boycott the Conjuring House. And she sent, so there's been emails sent that we were all tagged in recently. And now I'm going to show those. But just understand, she went on a rant going after everybody from the president to the gay community, to the Jewish individuals, and so some of it's going to be blocked out because, first off, nobody should be made to feel like this. But she does claim that we owe her $1.8 trillion. So, but hang on, here we go. So, would you like the honors of reading that to her?
Yes. Do you?
No.
I
Just
do.
leave the swear words out.
What the blank is everyone doing? It isn't enough that you will not give me access to one dime of my money. I hear you have a cute trick of putting my $1.8 trillion into my blank account, but will not let me see it. Or you want to drain me completely, still try to end my life. Still steal from my Fair Harbor booking account, not let me buy merchandise for the Conjuring House. F you, she starts coming up with names, she starts saying F you to all different kinds of banks, which we had to block out for personal information reasons.
Which she sent us messages with all of her bank account information. All of it. And then bounced checks, and then, I mean, literally, like, all of her bank account information, which, if we were criminals, we could have taken everything from our bank account, which wasn't doing too well.
Burn.
Anyways, go on with your email. The email.
Wicked burn.
And countless other immoral, evil people who deserve public humiliation and ruination. Who is stealing my money? How can you write 2 fraudulent checks, which we didn't? You are stealing over $20,000 from me every single month. Who are you people? I hear you are putting the sovereignty of the USA at risk by your reckless and dangerous tactics. You are also putting all of your
Depositors, yeah.
You are also putting all of your depositors at risk when your insinuations get
seized by the UN.
I can't see, sir.
Get seized by the UN of the Eastern Hemisphere. But whatever. $75 trillion for the one world government and the leasehold agreement in my name or the person's name. Wells Fargo, where's my 6,500 billion? Is that an actual number?
I don't think so.
$6,500 billion for me personally. By the way, someone owes me $1.5 million that was stolen from my insurance proceeds when my barn was set on fire by arson.
By arson, though.
Does that mean she got $1.5 million for a barn fire?
Which is not okay because she told us she didn't make nearly enough of the amount. At first, she told us it was $250,000 put into the barn. Now it's $450,000 put into the barn. Now it's $1.5 million settled.
So she's claiming she got $1.5 million for the barn. So that's what. By the way, someone owes me $1.5 million that was stolen from my insurance proceeds when my barn was set on fire by arson. Who should I look for that? Who should I look for?
Pay your insurance company, dumbass.
The blank insurance money that I never received and was settled behind my back.
Really?
Blank.
Doesn't even make sense.
Talking about banks and names.
Tom, I am owed $3.7 million on that one. Where is the Souther Estate. Sorry, decision. Where is the Condor Street, corner of Putnam and Condor decision? Where is my ownership title to Paramount, NBC, ABC, CBS, ESPN, and the New York Yankees by George Steinbrenner, who was the only American who to have met me about. Hang on, we're going to get rid of this one and bring up the next one. So.
Probably
about who I am. My vineyards in Napa and Sonoma countries. My vineyards in Napa and Sonoma counties, whereas my ownership title, many other assets for the U.S. residents and the one world government. I have CC'd many people, including our Burrville militia. I am the person who has saved all of humanity. I have trillions and trillions of dollars of resources put in my or the person's name. I have leasehold entitlements to John Arnold, Souther, Condor, Maori, and others. You stupid, dumb idiots. 1 + 1 + 1 = we are saving our planet. We are investing in our planet.
Where does
we are
that
investing
come
in people,
from, man?
places, and things. We are saving habitats and our
That's
animals.
left
What do you
field.
see?
It sounds like it's
the
supposed to make
Ribidos,
sense,
I don't
but
know
it
who that
doesn't
is,
make
stole the
sense.
John Arnold
Exactly.
leasehold.
It makes sense
The
to
Hurleys
her.
were given the Souther and Condor leaseholds. I see tyranny.
And her alone.
I see
Nobody else can even
extermination,
comprehend what she even
shelters.
is
I see
trying to
people
get
suffering
across.
and businesses
And
closing. This is what you
borderline,
want,
it
decent and
gets-
good
to
people
me,
who
it,
are not
like,
empowered to
it
not
sounds
want
like
this.
it's
They need to be
schizophrenic.
empowered to make ethical decisions with the integrity that they possess. I hear the new UN of the Eastern Hemisphere has prepared a document outlining everything you have done to hurt and my life and the American people. You will not recover from this. You will not end my life. You will not destroy this earth-saving missions. You will return my rightful assets and the 127 million of people's rightful assets that you and your
Yellow
this is where,
jacket.
hateful comments against the LGBTQ community, Jewish community, and things like that.
Right.
Wow.
So that's that one.
That's just
We'll get rid
that
of
one.
that. Now,
Yeah.
and then make things right in the UN. And by the way, Township of Burrville can seize assets. And I'm
What
being
is?
told
Why
that
would
they
she
will,
even be
if time
talking to them
passes too
about
long,
this?
Ribidos, get me my merchandise for the Halloween season at the Conjuring House.
I am the owner.
So she goes on. So first off, I know we've made videos about this in the past, and I did state this has nothing to do with paranormal. This has other issues, and so we need to get away from that because I see people still saying she's possessed. She's possessed. No, she's not. No, she's not. It has nothing to do with the paranormal, and I 100% can state that as a fact. She doesn't live on the property, anyways. So, but now these are the messages that she sent recently. Today, another message comes in. And then here we go with today. All right. So this one says, and this was directed straight to my kid here. So you and everyone else will be prosecuted. I hope you get.
Wow.
Actually, you can see what it says.
Wow.
I will take a prison sentence for life. You
wow,
should know
that's enough to get her
an abundance
locked up.
of evidence against you, Cody, Jason, Jennifer, Corey, Reed, Tara, and Amanda, among numerous others. You will never work and earn money another day in your life. I hear Joe Biden. Yeah, you can see what she's saying there. Leaving all you hanging in the wind to finally destroy you. If you post this, you're required to post everything I am saying. Oh, okay. I am. I'm posting everything you're saying. Or you will not like the consequences, whatever that means. I was told to tell you that. As you can see, CC'd here is the Justice Thomas, Jeff Bezos, owner of Amazon, New York Times, Washington Post, and others. You should know that powerful people like Justin Thomas and Jeff Bezos cannot have fake emails created in their names because such people would take you down immediately.
That's a lie.
So again, now she's sending messages about, hoping that something like that happens to my kid. And these are the things that are going on and on.
Yeah.
And these are big reasons why
that's a threat.
You gotta boycott that property. People cannot go there. I know people are doing events, and it sucks.
This is a long, drawn-out process.
You got to request your money back, try to get it back, whatever. Taking people there and taking a chance of her showing up in one of these crazed
kind of
rages.
So Satori used to work at the Conjuring House with her boyfriend Cody. Among many other employees on the property, and they were employed by Jacqueline.
Because she owned the place and she ran it and everything else.
And there was a point of time where she went broke and she wasn't able to pay the employees their paychecks. And then what started this whole thing after like her going crazy is because she ended up firing all these employees, including Cody and Satori. For those of you that are in the paranormal community like we are, there's a YouTube channel named Sam and Kobe that they were featured on, and they were actually the first people to even have Cody and Satori on YouTube. And that was like a whole ordeal in itself. I'm not going to dive into that.
Yeah.
But after Jacqueline fired these employees, the barn that was located on the property had mysteriously burnt down. So Jacqueline was accusing all the employees of arson
and stealing. There's also another employee that has made it very vocal and on YouTube that he literally does properties, not just the Conjuring house. He's part of the people that she hired to come in and give the tours and stuff like that, like a tour agency type thing.
Yep.
Something that I'm leaning towards doing around the Indiana area. If people are interested and wanting to go on a ghost adventure, hit me up. We'll take you on one. These guys would probably tag along too. We can do a Haunted Minds ghost extravaganza weekend or something.
I don't have 2 people at my full-time job that have said that they have experienced some paranormal activity inside of their own homes. And I was just telling them just flat out, we're your guys. We like to do dumb things. We like to get ourselves into some kind of trouble. Not whether it would be trouble or not, but you still have to
plan like it's going to be.
Yes, you got to play it like it's going to be because you don't know who you're going to encounter.
Always keep your guard up. Never let it down. But yeah, that whole ordeal, like she's definitely like, I don't know her personally, but if you do know her personally, this is a call for you to take that stand and commit this woman. Yeah. If she has a mental disease of any sort, which she has clear indications that she probably does, and it's untreated or unchecked, and if you're a loved one, step in and do something, take care of this before it gets out of hand and something bad happens.
Because I have this same guy texting me who was texting me, and he's the exact same way. He'll go on about how he's a hacker and this and that, and how everything else. He'll go on forever. And I'm like, dude, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And at the same time, I'm like, I know that he's on something. Obviously, he's not going to say.
Yeah.
But he's on meth.
It's Indiana, man. Like there's only a couple things it could be that's very
and like say a bunch of these names, like people that I have no clue who he's talking about, and saying that I'm a part of it and everything else. I was like, what? What are you talking about?
The only thing I know how to hack is like which way to turn the toilet paper roll. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about?
And I relate to this like really personally because like I've seen these kinds of acts that Jacqueline's like saying with my own father.
Yeah.
And it's hard to like.
That's why I'm not so critical of her.
It's like, it's weird.
That's why I almost feel sorry for her by reading that more than I feel mad towards her.
I think it's drugs.
I mean, it could part be, but
if she had no money to pay or nothing,
it could be, but it also could be just a straight up mental illness that's unchecked, and she thinks the world's out to get her. And that's one of the main things that schizophrenics usually think, and how they act is they think everybody's out to get them. But so does meth addicts. So there's a lot of correlation that runs between both.
You have to walk on whenever you're like testing for that sort of thing.
Yeah. And if she isn't arrested by now and at least taken into questioning about these comments, hey, police officers, do your job.
Do something, please.
Yeah.
But no, they're not going to do anything because she hasn't done anything harmful besides abuse them, and they've already put like a restraining order on her, but she's still texting them.
That's what I'm saying. That arrest her, please. Don't stop just looking at her as some old lady that couldn't possibly do anybody any harm. We haven't heard that story blow up in their faces before. Yeah. Never. Oh, and we didn't know that she was capable of that, or we didn't know he was capable of that. We didn't take him as a threat, and then bad things happen. So let's be proactive, not reactive, police.
Like there was one time, like there was a car that like had went past on the security camera, and she just automatically assumed that it was Jason.
Yeah.
Coming after her, claiming
and he was in a different state.
Yeah,
at the time.
He couldn't even have been there.
No,
and he's even proved that to her.
He's proved it to the internet too. I don't think he has anything more he needs to prove. But hey, he has a platform. He has a soapbox. Stand on it, and shout it. You know,
and that's why he always has been saying hashtag boycott the Conjuring house.
Yeah, because you don't want to get involved with her, because she could do the same thing to you.
She could show up at any moment during your like investigation or whatever, and then just not do it yourself.
And think about it. We all know when we go to these places, you have to sign paperwork. You have to put your phone number down. You have to put your information down on this piece of paper. And why would you want to hand it to somebody like that'll have all your private information and your personal cell phone number at their pleasure to do whatever that they wish to it, which is a breach of contract just right there.
It's how she acts. And when you see her in person, you're going to know that she's a loony. So like,
yeah, she's pretty,
right then there, you should know not to do it.
Yeah.
She's nuttier than squirrel turds. Let's just say that.
She got the official like page for the Conjuring house taken down by Facebook because of some of the posts that she was making on there.
Yeah.
And like there was like multiple people even like commenting on her posts, and she would like retaliate and just speak her mind, but it didn't really make any sense. I wish I had the screenshots of it, but there were some outlandish things that she was saying over on that page. I'm glad like taken down.
It's nuts, dude. Like it's where I'm to the point where just she must not have a whole lot of family or anybody that wants to stick around her. But that kind of attitude, the way she acts, she's probably pushed anybody away anyhow. So it becomes something that the police need to deal with before it gets bad and somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
Now
I believe this house that she owns, it's the original house,
the Conjuring house.
That they investigated.
Oh yeah, it's the real deal. It's the one they lived at. The parishes lived there and everything.
The parishes.
Yep, that's the original 1700s freaking place, dude. It's literally that old. So that's what's so awesome about that place too. And it sucks that somebody like that crazy has to own it and ruin like a legacy of there's so much documented stuff in that place that people have that are similar. This is one of the most paranormal hotspots in cases that there ever were or ever will be because of the history. It goes back to the 1700s, and people get the same names there. I think it's like Bethulia or something like that. That that pops up all the time, and like there's just we could do a whole special on that. I mean, honestly, sure. I almost did the Conjuring House or Amityville or like all these different places because there's so many of them to choose from. I went with the Wendigo because it's just creepy and it's Halloween time. But
like there's so many things that we could have talked about for today's episode too. Like I was going back and forth on whether doing the Arnie Johnson case or doing like a lesser known case that the Warrens have did that like not a lot of people know about.
That would be good too.
I started thinking about it and I'm like, well, as far as I know, not a whole lot of people know that the movie is actually based on a true story.
I got an idea. Oh,
you got a one idea?
Well, we could do a podcast on we each choose a case from the Warrens and talk about it. There's enough of them.
Yes, do it. Yeah, for sure.
That'd be a cool episode.
They have so many cases to go through that it's like, I'm sure that like nobody really has known about either.
Oh yeah, like there's ones that's why I'm kind of interested. It's like that's actually a good idea. Like I almost kind of want to like pick a couple, not even read the cases and just like pick one that I've never heard of and just run with it and see where it goes. Chase it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that's something you guys want to see, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Give us ideas too. Let us know anything.
Comment, share, like, you know where to find us. But we'll tell you again. Go to Facebook, Dark Side of Our Haunted Minds. It still says the Dark Side of Reality because like we're having issues changing the name.
It's changed on the marketing side of the Facebook, but it's not changed on the actual page, and we can't figure it out.
Because we keep sending it in, they tell us that, whatever. But we have that, but we also have a new X account. Go check it out. Give it a follow. We'll follow you back. We'll follow you right back. I don't have any problem with that. If you're cool enough to follow us, obviously we're cool. You're cool enough for us to follow you.
We appreciate the love. That's the main thing. That is, if you support us, we appreciate you,
and we'll support you. So
for sure.
But that's pretty much about all I got tonight, boys.
Yeah,
a lot of good topics, I'd say.
Right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Thank you all for joining us, and tune in next time where we will be talking about the Illuminati, and we're going to jump in and we'll watch it with you guys because that's going to be a recorded one, so we can actually like jump into the comments, talk with people, get a little bit more hands-on with everybody, and we'll do like maybe a premiere on our new YouTube channel. That might be a fun one. We could do that.
That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Start that out.
So we'll put the feelers out there and let y'all know when that's going to be available. But I'm pretty sure it'll be next Thursday at the same time, 7:30, 8 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock tonight. But you'll see us when we pop up.
Give or take.
Y'all are scrolling Facebook stuff anyhow. So join us.
What else?
Walk on the. Join us
at 9:30
on the dark side. Join us. We'd love to have you.
For sure.
Everybody, stay spooky, stay creepy, and stay weird.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Spooky.